A rugged people living by their own rules, wild and free. The Nephiric Horde originally hailing from the great plains of the Ogorial, a harsh, unforgiving land far to the north, inhabited by deadly creatures both natural and darker still. But having been forced from their ancestral birthplace by invaders from the west, the Nephir, by the guidance of the All-Father, had carved themselves a new home out of the Astrian High Kingdoms, as the Empire spiraled into civil war. Now, led by the mighty Onigdor, master of the four elements and speaker for the All-Father, the Horde has secured dominance over their new territories. The old rulers of the High Kingdoms bow before the tribe chieftains, and pay them tribute not only in gold and arms, but also in slaves. Men who may one day earn the right to become one with the Horde as equals. Hailing from nomads, hunters, and scavengers, the warriors of the Nephir favor the bow and arrow, and are highly skilled in the art of mounted archery. With the aid of their nimble Ogorial Lyaks, they strike as quickly as they are gone, and few forces within the High Kingdoms are able to oppose them for long. Those who do find that the Nephir are not afraid to stand and fight. Armed with a mixture of weapons and armor that they have ripped from the corpses of their fallen enemies, the Nephir fight like men that long for death. Watched over by the All-Father, also known as Gurchel, the master of the elemental spirits. No Nephir warrior need fear the end, and would much rather choose to meet his fate than to suffer the dishonor of cowardice. The mightiest of the Nephir, their most fearless champions, at times ride into battle on nightmarish steeds known as spearbeaks. Several times the size of a Lyak, these savage creatures are as like to strike friend as they are foe, if not under the command of a truly extraordinary warrior. The spiritual guides of the tribes, the shamans, wise men and women gifted with the blood of Gurchel, all strive to commune with the spirits under the All-Father. The elements of earth and fire all fall under the domain of men, and their blessings grant them terrible and destructive illimine, and the power to summon forth great elemental guardians to crush their enemies. The domain of women lies with the spirits of water and wind. Though also known to take part in war with the Astrians, their aspects primarily lie with the safekeeping and nurturing of life, and the prosperity and safety of the tribes. While the Horde remains under the rule of the Onigdor, joined by his champion and successor, chosen through arduous trial, the Jedahir, the Horde very much remains a tribal society. Each tribe has ever had its own ambition, and not all align with the will of the Onigdor. The Boscanar, formed from the remnants of smaller tribes, were the first to withdraw from the war, and remained closer to the Ogorial, where they struggle through constant conflict with the people of Annan Vale. The Nori, viewed by many as cowards, had found place in the central Assylian mountains, where they raid the neighboring lands of Salangad and Aranor, only to retreat to their natural stronghold amongst the rocky crags. The Altiri, having grown disillusioned with the Onigdor, had settled in northern Ruthmir, where they still live as brigands and oppressors, but also have begun to settle and intermingle with the local population, a fact that is much frowned upon by the more warlike factions within the Horde. But while the loyalty of some might waver, many still hold fast to their claim to their promised land, and their loyalty to the Onigdor remains as strong as ever. Settled nearest the Astrian border, the Neneri, as well as the largest tribe of them all, known by the same name as the Horde, the Nephir, remain in constant engagement with the Astrian army, and therefore have grown ever more aggressive, reckless, and radical. In their eyes, the rest of the Horde has grown complacent in the war against the Astrians. Caught in the middle during a time of turbulence and chaos, the fate of the Horde remains veiled by a mist of crimson. As they wade through a sea of blood, steel in hand, by their own strength carving themselves a new destiny. The one thing that remains a certainty is that their future promises a long and bloody war, as before them stand the ironclad war machine known as the Astrian Empire.